Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Well, I just turned on the lava lamp and it's not lava-ing yet. It needs a couple hours to warm up, so I apologize for that. So you can just imagine the lava lamp action if we were to sit here for a couple hours, but we won't. We have the Olympia Splendid 33. This is one of my favorite ultra portables in my collection. I got it a couple months ago, I think. But one of the issues it had was the G keycap was sitting lower than the other keys, almost a half a keycap height lower, in fact, quite noticeable. But it didn't really affect the performance of the typewriter. At rest, the G type bar was up against the type guide or the type rest, just like all the other keys were, and it operated fine. It struck the platen just fine at the typing position at the type guide, so it didn't really affect the performance of it, but it was just more of a cosmetic thing. And so I have some time on my hands this week, and I thought, you know, I would like to maybe see if I can figure out what's bent in there causing that G keycap to sit lower. So let's go out to the garage and see if we can fix it, shall we? Stay tuned. Okay, to take the bottom off, you have 6 screws, 3 on each side to remove. And once those bottom screws are off, you can pull this panel toward the rear of the machine and pull it off like that. One of the things I like about the Splendid design is the space bar rests, instead of being built into the bottom panel, is its own bracket. You can see the rest for the up position, and then there's a rest for how far down it goes. You don't have to rely on the position of the bottom panel for how well the space bar actuates the escapement mechanism. And you want to take off this screw right here underneath the side, underneath the ribbon cover on both sides. And once you do that and the bottom screws are off, you can just pull these 2 side pieces completely off the machine like that. The G keycap is sitting lower than the other keys, and I had to figure out where this is happening at, and it's obviously a bent linkage of some kind. And so I had to start examining all the linkages to see where it might be at. So one of the first places I looked was to make sure that the G type bar was sitting at the home rest position properly, and it is. And then the next thing I started thinking about is what would have been the failure mechanism, what would have been the cause of this, and I'm pretty sure it's someone banged on the key really hard. And so that's kind of where I have to look at where would be the failure point, where would be the obvious place where something would get bent due to hitting the key real hard. So the first place I looked was, is the keycap itself sitting on the key lever properly? And it is. If you compare it to the other key levers, it's sitting properly. So then I had to kind of look further down. Okay, so the next place I wanted to look at is down here where this secondary linkage is, and it's right here. And I'm looking at the angle of this linkage. It looks even with the rest of them. And then I'm looking at the rod or the wire here, and it looks very similar to the rest of them in terms of shape and everything. And then thirdly, I'm looking down here at the bottom at this place where it attaches, where the wire attaches to the type bar itself, and that actually looks okay as well. So that makes me think, okay, I'm going to be overexposing this picture a little bit just so you can see it down inside of here, but it's the second linkage from this frame member, so this one here. There is a short little rod that attaches between the key lever and this short piece here, and that rod looks to me to be bent properly compared to the others. I don't see anything outstanding on it. But the very back of the key lever where this wire attaches to, there is a little loop there. And that, I think, is what I'm going to form to get this key lever to come back up further. Okay, so I'm sort of backlighting the whole thing with a flashlight, but this little loop right here, where the wire attaches to the back of the key lever, it has an angle to it, and what I'm going to do is stick my little screwdriver in there, and then I'm going to push up on the key lever to try to change the angle of it, because the type bar itself at rest position, the type slug is sitting normally against the type bar rest, it has a good position. So I'm just basically pushing up on the G key lever while I'm holding my screwdriver against that linkage so I don't put any more stress on the rest of the system. And now the G key is very close to being in a normal position. I really think that keep cap is sitting plenty good for me right now. I think I'm going to call this a success. It types freely, and it's even. The capital G is even with the H. It looks like it's typing normally. As far as I bent that, I probably don't want to bend it too much further. There is an old saying, and that is that perfect is the enemy of good enough. So if we go too far, that we could break a piece of metal if it's brittle or something due to age, but I think I'm happy with the way that keycap is sitting. Speaking about ultra-portable typewriters, I don't actually have that many in my collection anymore. I still have the Royal Mercury, which needs a new platen, and really this is about the only other ultra-portable. I have the MJ Roy, which is kind of a peculiar oddball typewriter, and it is technically an ultra-portable, but I really don't use it that much. So as far as practical ultra-portables, and not counting thermal typewriters, which truly are ultra-portable also, but as far as ultra-portable mechanical typewriters, manual typewriters, this and the Royal Mercury are the two I have right now. And you know, I really like this machine. I used to have Olympia SF. Didn't like it as much as the Splendid 33, however. It had a problem with the sprocket for the line spacing. It would start, the letters would start out and go down a little bit at the start of a line, so it wasn't seated well. That little spring-loaded roller wasn't seated well into the sprocket. This Olympia Splendid 33, I really enjoy it. I do wish it was actually the 66 model or the 99, because it would be nice to have the bichrome feature. I do like typing on red and black a lot of times. And this has a small typeface. I'm currently using a cotton ribbon in it, and I noticed this machine kind of needs a cotton ribbon in order to get a nice dark imprint. So this is one of the things we've talked about in previous episodes, if you remember, is that you kind of have to tailor the kind of ribbon material to the particular machine. Some machines don't like cotton. It's too dark and messy. Other machines do like it, and there's also the option, of course, of silk as well. But anyways, that's aside the point. I'm glad I was able to get the keycap nearly to the perfect position. I didn't want to bend it too much further. As I said earlier, perfect is the enemy of good enough. So I'm quite happy with it. As an old saying goes, you'd never notice it from the back of a moving horse. Meaning if you really examined it, you might say, oh yeah, that's a little bit lower, but a couple of the others may be a little lower too. It's fine now, and I'm happy with that, and I'm going to continue using this machine and enjoying it. And that reminds me, I hope you continue using your typewriters and enjoying them as well, and staying creative with them. Until next time, be well. Have yourselves a great day. Bye-bye for now.